Shruti Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashyakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Namah Pranavahataya Shuddha-jnanaikamurtaye Nirmalaya Prashantaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvisha Vahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Together. Kataksha Kirana Chanta Naman Mohabdaye Namaha.
Kataksha-kirana-chanta naman mohabdaye namaha.
Anantananda Krishnaya Jagan Mangala Murtaye.
Anantananda Krishnaya Jagan Mangalamurtaye.
Right. Where were we? I think verse 21 somewhere, right?
Page 235, first para, completed.
235, okay. This is the part we read, if I remember right, is the one saying the ocean is unaffected by the rise and fall of waves or bubbles or foam, etc. And Swamiji pointed out that we have to be careful in these drishtanta because we try to give it, somebody will come up with an objection saying bubbles, not only water, it also has air in there. You can't have a bubble without the air there. But India is to understand that basically it is water has different forms. In the same way, entire Jagat, all the jivas in the Jagat are really in no way do they affect Ishvara. If you understand Ishvara as Brahman, that is Ishvara minus whatever qualities we might have superimposed on Ishvara to get our sense of Ishvara with Ishvaratvam. That is what was the example that was used with the word of caution by Swamiji on making sure that we understand what the example is trying to do. We know it, I think, here. Okay, we're coming to the second line of the verse. So who is reading it? Who is reading it today? Yes, sir. Ravi Shankarji, please. I suggest you read the verse first and then carry on with where we left off.
Sure. Amritabdharne me jirnihi.
Amritabdehe na me jirni.
Amritabdharne me jirnihi. Vrisha dindira janmabihi.
Dindira janmabihi. In Sanskrit, you be careful about the Diga and
Dindira janmabihi. Spatikandrerna me ragaha. Swapna Sandhyabra Vibramaihi. Trying to read it in Hindi. Sorry.
Yeah. Second line is talking about another example, which we will, I think, read now.
235, the para starting with another example.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another example now. Spadikadrena me ragaha swapna sandhyabra vibramaihi.
Swapna is
Swapna,
whenever you
swapna,
see
yeah.
this dirgha coming up, usually
Yeah.
indicates the bhava
Oh,
of that original word. Swapna bhava, swapna.
swapna. Swapna sandhyabra vibramaihi. There may not be jirnihi, but there can be ragaha. Raga is some kind of sambandha. Uparagaha, he had pointed out previously. That kind of sambandha is possible. Spadikadreha na me ragaha swapna sandhyabra vibramaihi. Think of this. There is a Spadikadri. The hill is called Adri. Spadika is crystal. Suppose there is a Spadikadri, a crystal mountain. A crystal is always clear. It does not have any color of its own. Suppose it assumes a color. Sandhya means the twilight hour. At Sandhya, at the time of sunset, you will find the crystal mountain appears with many hues. The crystal shines with a crimson or golden color. And because of that golden hue, is the crystal subject to any change? It continues to be Spadikadri without any coloration. Without undergoing change, it appears to have a color. Similarly, Kartratvam, Bhoktratvam, that is doership, enjoyership, etc., is seen in the Atma, which is Spadikadrihi. Iva, Abra is cloud.
Spadikadrihi iva. Like
Spadikadrihi iva, stop. Okay. Abra is cloud. Sandhyabra Vibrabaihi. Because of the Sandhya Abra, the colored clouds at twilight time, because of their Vibrama, their motion, the crystal mountain appears to be of one color now and of another color a moment later. The Spadikadri. Yeah, sorry.
Swamiji?
Yes, please.
Sorry?
Swamiji, what is the meaning of Jirnihi and Ragaha here, Swamiji? In this
Here,
context?
somebody explained this. I tried looking up in the dictionary. It's not easy to find out. We think of raga as attachment, desire. But Swamiji says it also means connection, sambandha. Raga also meaning, maybe in a sense, our raga is also sambandha only. Sambandha to an object. So it's in that sense, perhaps, Swamiji says raga should be read as, in this context, sambandha.
And Jirnihi, Swamiji?
Is it?
Jirnihi. So in the second sentence of the same paragraph, Swamiji says there may not be Jirnihi, but there can be Ragaha.
Jirni we saw earlier, no? There is not any wearing out. Bhasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya.
Okay.
The jirni is that which wears out in time. And earlier, the first sentence we said there is no jirnihi because of the waves and foam, etc. to the ocean. Ocean doesn't change. So what he's trying now arguing is that there may not be jirnihi, but there may be sambandha still. And he's trying to negate that.
Okay.
The Spadikadri's appearance is subject to change. Similarly, here we have Swapna Vibramaha. Swapnam means that which obtains the Swapna. Swapne Bhavam Swapnam. Like in a dream. Like in the dream means that it is Mithya. Swapnam is a wonderful example because in the dream all that is there is just you. But then there are a variety of things. There is a Karta, there is a bhokta, there is a bhogya, there are karmas, all kinds of karakas are there. All these dualities are experienced. But then all that is really, there is one Jyoti Eva. Jyotihi Eva. All that is there is one consciousness, and that is you. That is the nature of the dream, Swapna. Therefore, does Atma undergo any change because of kartratva, bhoktratvam, the doership, enjoyership, etc., which are superimposed upon Atma in the waking state, which is also Vitya. In fact, the beauty of this Atma is it will give light to the Karta, it will give its sustenance, its reality to the Karta, making the Karta stand, making the Karta a Karta, and while itself remaining unaffected by that. It lends itself totally to anything that occurs there. Any type of thought you have, a clean thought, an unclean thought, or any role you play. All the triputis, karta, karana karma,
Karana karma.
karana karma, jnanata,
Jnata,
jnanam,
jnanam, nyayam.
jnayam. All these are nothing but one Chaitanya Atma alone. It lends its existence, satta and spurti, consciousness to all three, and itself remains unaffected, like you are unaffected by the dream world. Here it is to be noted that in the example, the crystal mountain.
If you understand, sorry, that the whole Jagat, everything is Triputi, knower, knowledge, and object of knowledge. Experiencer, experience, and the object of experience. Seer, seeing, and the object of seeing. Everything is this threefold. All three are dependent existence. Knower is dependent upon Atma, knowing is dependent upon Atma, and knowledge is also dependent upon Atma, and the object of knowledge is also dependent upon Atma. Like in a dream we have everything. But they all are dependent only upon that one jnanam. Similarly here, if you understand this much, that everything is dependent upon jnapti, what we call jnanam in Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, and then later you also understand that jnanam is the same as Satyam, is the same as Anantam or Anandam, then everything really falls into place. That is why we keep talking about subject-object difference appears only in the Jagat, which is on Mithya. When looked at from the point of view of Atma, there is no division. There is only Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, the Lakshyartha of the three words. So this paragraph really brings it out. And that is unaffected by either the jnanam or the knowledge or the object of knowledge, not unaffected by any of them. But they all owe their existence to that Satvastu. In fact, later, the last few verses in this are very beautiful. I don't know if you recollect in the second verse, I think, or the second verse only. Remember, he said, I'm Sada Asmi, Sada Bhami, Kadachit Na Priyaha. Remember those verse? He will expand on that. Very beautiful. I am Sada Asmi, Sada Bhami, Kadachit Na Apriyaha. That Asmi, Bhami, and Priyam, Asti Bhasti Priyam, all mean the same thing as far as the Vastu is concerned. Everything And that one thing seems to give the illusion of a Jagat with all the varieties. We will come somewhere to the end of this text. We will see that.
Here it is to be noted that in the example, the crystal mountain and clouds are two different things of the same order of reality. But in the exemplified, Atma is Satyam, while everything else is Kalpita. Okay. Yeah. Therefore, Swapna Sandhyabra Vibramaihi Spadikadrehe me na ragaha, no stain, ragaha.
This is a good meaning for raga, stain.
Ragaha, no stain. Raga. Ranjanatmaka is raga. Raga here is connection, sambandha. Therefore, na me ragaha, na me sambandha idyartha. There is no sambandha whatsoever between the self and anything that occurs in the self, any more than there is a sambandha that obtains between anything seen in the dream and the conscious that obtains in the dream. There is no sambandha. Why? Because the dream itself is Chaitanya. What is the sambandha between clay and pot? There is no sambandha. What is the sambandha between wave and water? There is no sambandha, because wave is water. Only when there is a sambandha can one be affected by the other. Here, the other being entirely mithya, the vastu is not affected. This was established. Therefore, ataha siddhaha aham brahma sachidananda lakshanam.
Any thoughts on this verse 21?
Question, a small question, Swamiji. So Swamiji said, like, what is the sambandha between clay and pot? There is no sambandha, but there is karya karana sambandha is there, right, Swamiji? So we say
we have negated all that. There is no karya, there is no karana. Karya itself is mithya.
But for pot and clay, okay.
Pot is also mithya, no? As far as that example is concerned. Clay is the Atma. Pot is only illusion, in the sense that you remove the clay, there is no pot left. So pot becomes only Namarupa. Just like everything else in the Jagat is only Namarupa. They are all dependent existence, depend only on the Vastu. So you start asking questions like, if there is a sambandha between pot and clay, where is the pot? Is it in the clay, on the clay, under the clay, inside the clay, on top of the clay? Where is the pot? What existence is only clay. Yes, sir. Somebody said something. Yes, Divyash.
Swamiji, so can we say, like, for any relationship to be true, both the entities should also be like real?
Absolutely. Both entities not real. Both should be of the same order of reality.
वही.
You watch your words. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Introduction to verses 22 to 24, something different. Contention to Sat, Chit, Ananda and Gunas. We go through this. This book is a short.
One sentence is what I was talking about. Contention that Sat, Chit, Ananda are Gunas. Is Sat a guna of Brahman? Is Chit a guna of Brahman? Is Ananda a guna of Brahman? Brahman is Nirguna, unchanging. The moment you have a guna, there will be change. How do you say this? And that is where we've been repeatedly talking about the fact that Sat, Chit, Ananda, if you take the Vachyartha, the word meaning that we use in our daily life in the Jagat, you will have, they are gunas. Because a guna can have an opposite, can have Dvandva. Sat can have Anritam. Chit meaning sentiency will have insentient. Ananda will have Anananda. And everything else in between. But what we're talking about is the Lakshyartha of these words. So I think this next 2-3 verses, it's already come. I thought it's much later. Oh, we're almost at the end anyway. Yeah.
This book is a short Siddhi Grantha. Siddhi Grantha means a Grantha that establishes a certain fact by reasoning, a fact that is revealed by the Shastra.
This is a very
Vichara
important
meaning
sentence that Swami has written here. Something is established by reasoning, but reasoning cannot be the source of knowledge. Think about this. The source of knowledge has to be elsewhere. Reasoning can only make that knowledge pakka. So all the vichara we do, this whole text, in fact, is all about mananam. But it has to draw the knowledge from the pramana, which is Shastra. It is only by logic trying to establish what Shastra has already said. So, Swamiji's nice sentence here means that Grantha that establishes a certain fact by reasoning, a fact that is revealed by Shastra, but established by, reconfirmed in your head, because we are all so stuck with logic and reasoning that we need that. Yeah.
Vichara meaning inquiry or analysis is not a pramana.
The next sentence, Swami just said the same thing, not a pramana.
An analysis is not a pramana, is not a means of knowledge. What is the means of knowledge for Atma? Shabda is the means of knowledge. Shabda alone is the pramana. Each means of knowledge is unique in its scope. It cannot be replaced by any other means of knowledge. Here, Atma being unavailable for perception or for inference, you have to go for another pramana, that is Shabda. When Shabda is a pramana, then it is supposed to give the prama of Atma, and it gives Atma is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, Tattvamasi. Sada aham asmi, sada bhami, kadachit naham apriyaha. Ataha siddham aham brahma sachidananda lakshanam yata shastroktam.
As has been established by Shastra, has been told by Shastra. I'm trying to remember which verse is this. I think third or fourth verse, second or third verse probably.
Second verse.
Second verse, right?
Ahamasmi sada bhamiyama. Second verse.
Ahamasmi sada bhami kadachit naham apriyah brahmaivahamatath siddham sachidananda lakshanam.
Second verse.
That is what he is expanding here.
This is the Shastrokti. Here the verse itself gives a yukti for how to do Tvam Pada Vichara. Aham Asmi Sada Bhami Kadachit Naham Apriyaha Iti. There itself Siddhi is established. Siddhi means this is how it is. What is said by the Shastra is true and it cannot be contradicted by any other pramana. The author said, Sada aham bhami. All the time I shine. There is not a time when I do not shine. If anything does not shine, that it does not shine is known because the fact that something does not shine also shines. So what I do not see is also known to me. What I see is also known to me. What exists is lighted by me. What does not exist is also lighted by me. Therefore, Sada aham bhami, Sada aham bhami. This bhami is asmi. That which shines is this sadvastu. This was pointed out. So, Sastroktam Sachidananda Lakshanam Brahma Aham iti Siddham. To demonstrate that it is Siddham, varieties of objections are raised and one by one they are answered. This is called Vishara. Vishara is not a pramana, but Vishara helps you eliminate pratibandhakas, any obstructions that prevent your understanding the prama. That prameya shanka, any doubts that may be there about the prameya are negated one by one in these verses. Now there is a big contention that Sat, Chit and Ananda are attributes of Atma. This contention is substantiated.
There's one sentence in between Swami has written which is bit, if we see it clearly, explains it very easily. One, it says, I'm Sada Bhami. There is no waxing and waning of the knowledge of Atma. It is self-revealing and it's self-revealing at all times. Second, that what reveals Jnanam, as we know Jnanam in terms of the Vachyartha, is this Jnapti, is the Jnanam that we talk about in the Satchidananda Brahman. But the same thing also reveals Ajnanam. So it's neither the Jnanam that we talk about nor the Ajnanam that we talk about. They are attributes. But that which reveals Jnanam and the Ajnanam is not an attribute. It is the very Swarup of the Vastu.
You give the examples of Swapna, Sandhyabrat, Vibhrama, Vrisha, Dindira, Janma to show the asatvam of the Jagat. But whatever you say, you cannot dismiss everything as Swapna Kalpita, Swapna Sandhyabra, Vibhrama or Mrisha, Dindira, Janma. Your examples are subjective examples. They always point out that what is false. They use a perception that has no Vastu Nishta. It has only Drastra Nishta. It is subjective. So, Drishtihi eva tatra srishtihi. You are always talking about Drishti Srishti. You are not talking about Sattvam. Sattvam means existing objects. Our experience is of existing things. Gataha, sun, pataha, sun, etc. This Jagat has Sattvam. The objects of the Jagat severally and Jagat as an object singly as one Jagat enjoys Sattvam. Jagataha Sattvam Asti. Gatasya, Patasya, Matyasya api Sattvam Asti. Tava Srisyasya Sasya api sattvam asti. Even your head exists.
The head. Even your head is real.
Real.
Well, I see hand up, Divyansh.
Swamiji, what is Sattvam here?
The only reality, Satvastu. Here, okay, what Swamiji is talking about here is the world has Sattvam, meaning there is a reality when seen from within the Jagat. There is the existence of everything in the Jagat as long as you see it from within the Jagat. Therefore, you cannot say it is not real. It's not real only when you understand the totality, therefore you look at it from the perspective of the Sadvastu. Once you're clear about that, then this Jagat becomes, till then what do we do? Till then we call it Mithya. We don't dismiss it as non-existent, nor do we accept it totally as existent. That is the very definition of Mithya, no? So here, as we read, I'm sure there will be more explanations on this. The Jagat has certain order of Satyam, Sattvam.
Transactional reality, when we say.
Existence, yes. Transactional reality.
Okay.
You have to accept that. You can't say.
I like the word virtual reality even more than transactional reality.
Virtual, though, like we can't call it transactional, right? It is purely, we say that it is not real.
But when you're in the virtual world, you're interacting with others in the same virtual world.
फिर तो ड्रीम भी बोल सकते हैं.
जरूर बोल सकते हैं. I only said I like that word because, see, at the time when these were written, we didn't have anything like a VR, probably. If we had, maybe these would have also included VR. Therefore, we call them Mithya. They are not real. They are not, for want of a better word, real. They are dummy real. Virtual real. That's why we call VR, no? Virtual reality.
You can't say it is false. Vrisha Dindira Janmavat. Head is not Dindira. So also other things. So you must accept Sattvam for everything. This sun is Sattvam, blazing sun in summer, and you are huffing and puffing. It's so hot, so hot. So you can't say it is all Mr. Dindiravat.
These are all arguments of the Purvapakshi, okay? Purvapakshi is arguing.
And come winter, you find all the winter clothes are coming out one by one. And in the peak of winter, when the fellow goes out, everything is covered, only the nose is out, as though a grizzly bear is walking on the road. So heat and cold are not Brisha Dindiravat. Vastunaha Sattvam Asti. And each one has its own Sattvam. Then where is the question of Advaya Vastu?
Right. Even the Dindira has certain reality. The same transactional reality is true of also of Dindira, waves and everywhere. It is only a perspective difference. This example Swamiji is saying of summer coming and winter going and winter coming, I think only a few of us can talk about it. I think Anand can now talk about it. Divyansh experiences it every year. Jaya doesn't. None of the others experience that. We don't have those seasons.
You don't have winter in South?
Sitting where she's sitting.
Only hot and hot.
You're in New Jersey, right? No. Hot hoga. Bombay, Coimbatore, Chennai has only 3 seasons. Chennai has only 3. They say told Chennai has 3 seasons.
Chennai is only hot,
hotter and hottest.
Hottest.
Yeah, only 3.
Famous statement from Rajagopalachari.
So you can say, here he's saying it's hot, so hot, so hot. You can then say you can so hotter, so hotter. Chennai is like. Now come to Coimbatore, it's much better.
It's raining.
Especially during Agni Nakshatram period.
Yeah,
This year has been pretty bad all over the country. The north has been in extremely bad shape.
But last 10 days we are getting rains.
Okay, shall I continue?
Yeah. Lakshanam is that by which something is lakshita, implied. So, Gatasya Lakshanam is Gatatvam. Gatatvam is Jadi Lakshanam. There are different, Jati Lakshanam. Jati Lakshanam. There are different types of Gatas of different shapes, sizes, colors, etc. But all have Gatatvam in common. That's how you recognize a Gata. Therefore, Gatatvam is a Jadi Lakshanam. Vrikshaha, if you consider, Vrikshatvam is Jadi Lakshanam. For cow, cowness is Jadi Lakshanam. Similarly, here, Brahmanaha Lakshanam is Sattvam. Gataha sun, Pataha sun, Ityado, the Sat Sabda Artha, existence, Astitvam is common. It is a Lakshana of Sattva Jati. All existent things are members of this Sattva Jati. You say that all Sattvam is one, but it is a Jati. A Jati means there is Nanatvam, manyness due to Vijati, Sajati, etc. Why don't we take Sattvam as a Jati? If it is a Jati, then we can say Brahman is Jatimat. Then Brahman becomes Sattva Jatimat and also a Dravya, a substance. Atma is also a member of this Sattva Jati, but that does not mean every Atma is Brahman. There are many Atmas.
You all know about this threefold Veda. Swagata Veda, Swajatiya Veda, and Vijatiya Veda. Is there anybody who is not very clear on that? This Veda is applicable to everything in the Jagat. He is trying to extend in saying applied also to Brahman. Because he is not differentiating between the Sat, which defines Brahman as a Lakshyartha, and the Sat that defines, Sat meaning existence, that defines the existence of objects in the Jagat as Vachyartha. If you don't make the differentiation, it looks like they'll all belong to the same Jati, which we will negate. All this is still Purvapakshi. Huh? So sometimes it can be confusing. Even in the Bhashyan, sometimes it becomes difficult because where Bhashyakara is quoting a Purvapakshi and where he's negating the Purvapakshi is not very clear. Unless you take the meaning, you can't assign it because he doesn't write, in the Bhashyam, he doesn't write Purvapakshi like a play, Siddhantan. He doesn't write like that. But from the meaning, you should understand who is talking. Yeah.
Atma is qualified by these three attributes or qualities. What are the three qualities? Sattva Guna, Jnana Guna, Ananda Guna. So with these three attributes, Atma becomes a substantive and these three are the qualifiers, attributes of Atma. Like Neelam, Sugandhi, Mahad, Utpalam, the blue fragrant big lily. Why should you have qualifiers, adjectives? Visheshanani, Kimartani. Kimartani. Anyebhyah Anyebhyah Swajatiyebhyah Vishayebhyah Vishayebhyah Vyavartakani Visheshanani Vyavartakani eva Visheshanani. Vyavartakani means distinguishers. They distinguish what? They distinguish an object from other objects belonging to the same species, same class. Swajatiyebhyah. So when you say this is a lily, that itself is a jati. Yatra yatra utpalatvam. Wherever there is liliness, tatra tatra utpalaha. There a lily is recognized. Therefore, lily itself indicates jati. Like when you say cow, what do you mean by cow? It is not a word for an object. It is a word for a jati. Because the word cow is not used to reveal only one object. Cow is used for a white cow, for a black cow, for a brown cow, for a Jersey cow, for a local cow. All these are cows. What does that mean? Cow is only a word revealing a jati. Chair too. There are varieties of chairs. Table means varieties of tables. Vastram means varieties of vastram. Hair means varieties of hair. Sariram means varieties of sarira. All these are jadi vachakani. All of them are jatis.
So when you have cow as a jati, within that jati you will have other jatis also. You will have Jersey cow is one jati again. You will have Kangeyam cow is another jati. So each sub jati will be like that. Whole Jagat is like that only. And he is arguing. We'll continue to see how he argues. So let's continue.
Yeah. So here in blue, fragrant, big lily, the word lily reveals a jati. Being a jati, it can be a substantive subject to varieties of Visheshanas attributes. A jati can have attributes to distinguish an object which is a member of a given jati from other members. Therefore, lily, when you say, if every lily is blue, we do not require to use the word blue. Okay. Like sugar, when you say, you do not require to say sweet sugar. White sugar, you can say, but you need not say sweet sugar. You need not say it because every form of sugar is sweet. Similarly, if every lily happens to be blue, then you do not require to say blue lily. Like you do not need to say white milk, unless there is also some other milk, like black milk, etc. Here we have to say blue lily to distinguish this lily from those which are of a different color. Then again, there are many blue lilies, but they are all not as big as this one. This is a big blue lily. When we use the word big, it distinguishes among the blue lilies, big lilies, from those which are not as big. Therefore, a second adjective, Mahad Utpalam, becomes appropriate. Then a third adjective also is relevant because all the blue lilies, big or small, all of them are not as fragrant as this Utpalam. Since they do not enjoy the same fragrance as this Utpalam does, we have to throw in one more adjective to make it very clear that this fragrant one is the one that I am meaning. It is a fragrant lily. Therefore, we have three adjectives: blue, big, fragrant. We have distinguished this lily using these. If there are a bunch of lilies, even when you look, you will be looking to pick up that blue, big, fragrant lily. If there are many lilies which are big but not blue, you are not going to pick them up. If there are many lilies, blue and big but not fragrant, you are not going to pick them up. You have to smell them and pick up the fragrant one. Therefore, all these adjectives are appropriate. Like the lily, Brahman is also a dravya, and it has these three attributes or qualities, Sat, Chit and Ananda. Satchidananda Guna. These are the qualities of the Brahman. Satchidananda Atma is Brahma. It has Sattvam, it has Chitvam, and it has Ananda Sukha. This is a big contention. This will now be answered.
Up to now, it is all Purvapakshi. He is trying to argue, saying that Satchidananda Brahman is a Brahman which has these three attributes: Sattvam, Chitvam, and Anandatvam.
Ananda Sukha. Okay. Atma has three qualities: Sat, Chit, Ananda. This is innocent talk, not understanding what it all means. If you say that they are qualities, to call Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam or Satchidananda qualities of Atma, the first rule is you must have Atma Jati. Atma Jati means that there should be many Atmas. Unless there are many Atmas, you do not require to distinguish one Atma from the other. This is Sadatma, like it is a blue lily. That means other Atmas are not Sadatmas. Like these other lilies are not blue, all Atmas are not Sadatma. That means there are Asad Atmas also. If Chit is a quality, then that means there are Asiddhatmas also. So, what does Satchidananda Atma mean? There are many Asadatmas. Do not pick up the Asadatmas, pick up the Sadatma, number one adjective. Then there are many Sadatmas, but all are not Siddhatma. Among the Sadatmas, there are many Jadatmas available. And therefore, based on the second adjective, you pick up what? Siddhatma. Further, there are many Satchidatmas, but all of them are Dukhi Atma. Based on the third adjective, you pick up Ananda Atma. Only this Atma is Ananda Atma. This would be the consequence of saying Satchidananda Atmanaha Gunaha. If Satchidananda are Gunas, Atma becomes a substantive and therefore there is no non-duality, Advaitva Hanihi. Another thing also we can bring in here, anything Gunavat, Visheshatvat, Tad Dravyam Bhavati, Yad Visheshasvat, Tad Dravyam, Visheshavat,
Visheshatvat. Because they have Vishesha, they have qualities, therefore they are Dravyam. Dravyam is a word, it's a technical word used by logicians. They say there is a substantive, and they've defined the substantive, some 8 substantives they define, and then on that they give attributes. They all must have some attributes, Vishesha. Therefore, if there is anything Vishesha, which has Vishesha, according to me, becomes Dravyam. But we are saying that this is not a Dravyam. Yeah.
Like what? Like the blue lily, Neelotpalam Iva. That is the logic here. So, Yadyad Visheshavat, anything that is subject to a guna, an attribute, is a dravya or a jati. Either way, you can say. Let us first take dravyam. Dravyam is a substance, an object enjoying a jati like utpalam. All right, let it be. Let Atma be a substance. But then, yadyad dravyam, taddad nashyam. Anityam. Dravyatvat utpalam iva.
Dravyatvat. Being dravya, they are subject to destruction.
Yeah. Dravyatvat utpalam iva. Like an utpala, it is nashya. It is subject to destruction, being a dravya. If you say that Satchidananda are gunas, then Atma becomes a dravya. If it is a dravya, it is anitya. If it is anitya, then Atma cannot be sastrokta. Sastrokta satyam jnanam anantam brahma. Advit, advidiyam brahma.
Advidiyam Brahma. I see one more
Advidiyam
hand come up. 1 minute. Let me see.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, Swami, I could not follow. Like, how did we say that Dravyam is Anitya?
Anything which has quality. Dravyam is defined as that which has Vishesha.
Quality.
Vishesha means a quality, a guna. Anything which has a guna will change and will eventually be destroyed in time. The guna itself
How?
will change. You tell me one which will not change, which has a guna.
No, like, Guna may not change. मतलब कि ठीक है. And
You tell
every
me
example I will give, that will be a Nitya thing only,
one
right?
object which has some guna which remains unchanged.
Okay. Blue cow.
A blue cow, it will change. Anything which has a guna, it's a cow itself is going to change. Whether blue or pink or white cow, it is going to change.
No, like if I give you an example of any object, because it is from the world, it will change. So मतलब वो तो किसी भी चीज पे apply हो
Correct.
सकता है.
Therefore, everything in the Jagat has guna, and that Atma, Brahman cannot have guna because it has got to be Nitya. Shastra says it's Nitya. Therefore, it cannot have guna. It cannot have any Vishesha. Therefore, it is called Nirgunam.
No, like I'm asking that if something has an attribute, how does that mean that that thing will change?
You tell me, you think about it. If it has an attribute, that means there's something else also there.
Yeah.
Correct? Because the reason to give it an attribute is to distinguish it from something else.
Yes.
Correct? So what will happen to that? It is now not a it's not a Purna Vastu in any case. And
Yes.
anything which has any attribute, in time it will change. That's the logic. And therefore, any dravya which has, and dravya is defined as something which has attributes, will change in time and eventually be destroyed.
The thing will change or the attribute will change?
Attribute will change, good enough. If it's an attribute of an object will also change, no? If the blueness
Yes.
fades, it is not a blue lily anymore. It's a faded lily.
Okay. So, I'll give an example. Okay. Let's say there is one brown cow. Till the birth, from the birth till the death of that cow, it remained brown only. After that, it was neither the cow remained nor the brownness remained, right? That is a separate thing. But till that object sustained, the attribute sustained. How can we say that attribute will change?
You tell me, how can you say that any attribute will not change? No attribute will remain forever. The attribute will change. The color will also change. No cow has the same color throughout. It will keep increasing or decreasing. As the cow changes, color will also increase or decrease. If it has patches of white and red, brown, it will become different sizes of patches. If it is all brown, something else will change. It will become lighter brown or darker brown.
Wait.
We will
Okay.
take it up. We'll take it up separately. There is a whole science behind this dravya and the guna of the dravya. It is part of the logic that is used by people who use logic only for this. I will take it up separately for you to understand what is the dravya and what is a guna, and why anything which has a dravya, which has a guna, will change. We'll take it up separately.
Okay.
So we already come to the end of the day.
Yes, it is. Yeah, 15. So we're stopping here.
Yeah, we'll stop here.
Okay.
I'm going to give you all a task to do. He has raised a question. If you look up the Shastra, Nyaya Shastra, you will find definitions of these words. What is dravya? What is a guna? Very complex, actually, when you try to read it, to understand it. The conclusion there is that anything which has guna, first, it has guna you give because you want to distinguish it from other things in the same jati or other jatis. And second, that it cannot remain unaltered in time. It is subject to change in time. Somebody can look it up and bring it up and put it up in the neck or put it in the group. Divansh, you can all do it yourself as well if you want.
Oh no, I should start asking less questions now. Otherwise, I'm getting homework.
Good homework to do.
So Swamiji, like my question is that the object will change. I agree. Any object that is limited will change, but the attribute will change in time. That is the question.
Okay, that's why I'm giving you the little homework. Look up the logic given in Nyaya Shastra and see if we can either substantiate what you're saying or explain what you're saying.
Okay.
And others also can do that. You can do a bit of study of this Nyaya. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Thank you, everybody.